Well, Haiti is under a state of emergency at this hour as the country's gangs have freed thousands of people from prisons and are reportedly trying to bring down Haiti's unelected Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Dan Cohen from Uncaptured Media, of course, has been covering Haiti like no other and joins us. He just actually returned from Haiti. Where things have gotten a little out of hand. But I did, air quotes for gangs, Dan, because there is the story that the media tells us about what's going on in Haiti, and then there's the truth, which is, of course, what you have uncovered. What is going on in Haiti right now?
Yeah, I think it's appropriate to use those air quotes on gangs. I mean, there are real gangs, but the real gang are the ones running the country at the behest of the U.S., and that's what we're seeing a long-term sort of popular uprising coalesce right now in the rejection of the interim prime minister, who I think is now the longest-serving prime minister in Haitian history, Ariel Henry, basically being rejected by the country. So essentially, what's going on is Ariel Henry left about a week ago to go to Kenya. And in Nairobi, he has signed an agreement with the Kenyan government to send in basically what amount to death squads. I did an investigation at Uncaptured Media on these. They call them Kenyan Police Special Forces, but these are straight up death squads that have a extremely horrific track record inside their own country. And so the US has been seeking a military intervention in Haiti, but doesn't want to do it itself because they know that the Haitian masses would reject it. Because of the history of bloody U.S. interventions in the past. And so the U.S. has been seeking other countries, has tried every single way, ram it through the United Nations, through CARICOM, and finally got the Kenyans, apparently through a hefty bribe worth hundreds of millions of dollars, to agree to send 5,000 police special forces, as I said, death squads.
It's
That
amazing, right? Because, yeah, all of these other countries, like, no, 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 we're not sending troops, we're not sending forces, we're not doing. So, how in the world did the United States manage to bribe them? Like, what was the bribe here to get them to send thousands of people?
Yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars to this incredibly corrupt Kenyan government that is basically a landing strip for the United States, and in the region of Africa, that it's in is a top U.S. ally. So, and has participated in all kinds of interventions throughout Africa, and even in Yugoslavia in previous decades, and so it's a dependable kind of regime for the United States in Africa, and they figure, well, we can get basically a black face on this American intervention in Haiti. That's the idea. However, that has met some legal um, hurdles in Kenya, namely because there has to be a bilateral agreement with the government of Haiti, and the government of Haiti is unelected. So they're trying to ram it through anyway. Prime Minister Ariel Henry goes to Kenya to get this thing signed. And now that he's out of the country, what's happened is these armed groups, some of which are criminal in nature and are fair to call gangs, and some of which are not criminal in nature, and we've profiled extensively, here on Redacted. These armed groups have a sort of non-aggression pact, I think is the best way to describe it. And so what they've done is gone and occupied the airport in Port-au-Prince, which basically means that Ariel Henry cannot come into the country and cannot land. And at this point, I don't think anyone even knows where Ariel Henry is. So this is the main thing they're trying to accomplish, is keep Ariel Henry out, this unelected tin pot dictator controlled by the United States, to keep him out. Inside the country, you have this non-aggression pact between these armed groups, and these armed groups are who carried out this raid on the prison, freeing thousands of prisoners. And now I just want to kind of help people understand, what is this non-aggression pact? Who are the gangs? Who are the other armed groups? So we have profiled extensively a guy named Jimmy Cherizier. His nickname is Barbecue, who is a former Haitian police officer who was basically burned by the system and became a quote unquote outlaw. And he founded a group called the Revolutionary Forces of the G9 Family and Allies, and which basically sought to unite armed groups against the criminal armed groups. And so for years, for about 4 years, the G9, led by Cherizier, has been fighting against these gangs, these criminal gangs that kidnap, that rape, that murder, and really terrorize the population. He came to a point where he was unable to fight them and actually really defeat them because there are so many and they are heavily armed and funded by the elites in Haiti who are tied to the US. So what he did is he decided, look, I'm not able to defeat them, so I'm going to have a sort of non-aggression pact with them. And that was created last year in something called Vivre Ensemble, living together, is what it means in Creole. And so Vivre Ensemble is very fraught. There have been groups that have come in it and come out of it. But basically, Cherizier has tried to keep this non-aggression pact together to focus on getting rid of Ariel Henry. And then once Ariel Henry is out, then they can kind of, determine what happens next. So it's basically it's really a gamble for Cherizier, who I believe in what he is trying to do, in the sense that he wants to improve the conditions of his country, so people aren't living in literal sewage. But he's had to essentially make a deal with the devil in order to defeat a larger devil. So what happens now is anyone's guess. It's a very kind of unstable moment.
It's fascinating because as you've posted on X, we see, these incredible images of him speaking, Jimmy Cherizier speaking to thousands of people in Haiti. And for the first time, I'm seeing him wear a suit and tie instead of sort of like military fatigues. And he's it seems like he's trying to bring these people together to rise up against these imperialists who are trying to take over our country, the United States, the United Nations, who are trying to come in here and exploit our people, and trying to, it seems, get these individuals whom the United States has had in their back pockets for a long time on his side, saying, maybe stand with Haiti rather than the imperialists, the United States. It's a tall order. What's your sense of whether or not he can pull this off?
It's anybody's guess, really, at this moment. I mean, those armed groups that has this non-aggression pact with are dangerous. They're killers. But whether he can convince any of them to change their ways remains to be seen. Whether he has to end up fighting them as he was before, and has been for years, that's a big question. And he has been fighting some of them. This whole Vivre Ensemble non-aggression pact, like I said, has been very fraught. For example, he lives in a neighborhood called Lower Delma, which he is basically responsible for, and he for years fought the next neighborhood over called Bel Air, led by a guy named Kempes Sanon, who is an unrepentant kidnapper. Now he has a non-aggression pact with him. Does that mean they're allies? They're at peace? No, it just means they're currently not shooting at each other, not killing each other. But he has Barbecue, the G9, has been fighting against other groups from a few streets over, and that was happening when I was there with Kim Ives of Haiti Liberté just about 2 weeks ago. So we see that this is very I keep saying the word fraught. It's the best way to describe it. It's extremely fraught. It's unknown how it could develop. And he's at the same time, actually, that he has been making these non-aggression pacts with these different armed groups. Those armed groups have actually still been attacking other neighborhoods. And what Barbecue has been doing is taking in the victims from those neighborhoods and allowing them to take shelter inside his neighborhood, allowing them to set up markets, which is basically how they survive, by selling, in informal markets on the street. So it's just a totally fluid situation that could just go any way.
Do you get the sense that the United States meddling or the United Nations meddling in this is subsiding, or is this sort of a catalyst moment where you're about to see a lot more nefarious, I don't want to say boots on the ground, but money flowing in, arms flowing in, meddling flowing in all of the ways that the U.S. manages to meddle and we don't see it in the open air?
I mean, it's no secret that the arms come from the U.S. and have been for quite a while, whether through official or unofficial means. I mean, Florida has very lax gun laws. It's easy to get guns out and smuggle them in to Haiti. So that has been going on for quite a while. I mean, I think the U.S.'s overall strategy is really faltering. They haven't been able to convince many countries to go in, even with Kenya has said they would contribute 5,000 police. Benin, which is in West Africa, said recently announced that they would contribute 1,000 police. The Bahamas, a few other countries have said they would contribute, very small amounts, which are more symbolic than anything. But it's really not enough to be able to accomplish what the U.S. wants, which is to basically go in and root out these, so-called gangs. I mean, first of all, just the number of forces. I think you want, maybe a 5-to-1 ratio of foreign troops going into these neighborhoods where the locals, of course, have the advantage. It's like the Americans going into Vietnam or something. You're going against people who know the terrain, who speak the language, who can blend in, with the civilian population, with the public, and they just kind of appear and disappear and this kind of thing. So it's really a bad situation for any Kenyan or any Kenyan police officer to be going into these slums in Haiti trying to, also they don't even speak the language. In Kenya, they speak English and Swahili, but they don't speak Creole. They don't even speak French. So they're going to be totally clueless. And basically it's just not it's not a very strong recipe. It's not a strong plan for a success of any kind of intervention. So I think the US's strategy overall is very half-baked. And the idea of just keeping Ariel Henry in there indefinitely is obviously not working either. So I think, at least from what I can see, they don't have any really good answers for this situation that they've created through multiple coups d'etats against the popular elected president of Haiti, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, in the 90s, and then again in the early 2000s, the gutting of the state, the assassination of the president, Jovenel Moise, in 2021. It's just the U.S. has abused Haiti in every way possible and exploited its labor in such extreme ways and shaped it. And now it's got this mess on its hands that it's trying to, stuff back into, but it just doesn't have a good way, is what I see.
Wow, there's a long track record of the United States doing that in multiple countries. Destabilizing these countries through assassinations, coups d'etats, and then realizing they've made a massive mess and then trying to stuff that genie back in the bottle. I could run down a laundry list of those countries. So, Haiti under a state of emergency at this hour. Look what the United States hath wrought. Dan Cohen, I encourage everyone to go over to check and go to his YouTube channel, go to Uncaptured Media, whether on YouTube or Rumble, and watch the new documentary that you've just done there and all of your coverage of Haiti. Has some great journalism over there, as always. Dan, great to see you.
Thank you, Clayton.
I really hoped you enjoyed watching this video. YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it. And we will see you next time, everyone.